Welcome back to Nowhere Fast Garage, everyone. Wanted to give it a little update on the Camaro progress. So last thing we did on here about a month ago was the new exhaust. When I bought it last fall, had the original exhaust, or what appeared to be original. It was a major exhaust leak right where it attaches to the coming out of the cat. So I got the Summit exhaust system on here now. So no more exhaust leaks. Got the hatch lifts replaced, the hood lifts replaced, so now everything will stay up when it's open. Still have to figure out what I'm doing with this torn seat here. Probably gonna just go to an upholstery shop, see how much it'll be to patch that. I'm not looking to recover the whole seat or anything. Oh yeah, got the gauges all working. The tach reads off. The tach reads probably about double of what the real RPM is, but I understand that's a common problem, and there is a guy who makes a chip for that to replace the original tach circuitry, and it's really not very expensive, so I'm going to look into getting that. The fuel gauge seems to be good now. It kept getting pinned, so I bent the edge of the gauge face. Temperature gauge works. Fuel temperature gauge comes up real slow, so I'm wondering if there's a problem with that, or maybe there's no thermostat in this car. I'm not really sure, but it seems to take a really long time to get up to temperature, which is unusual. I got the crack over here in the console top. I thought about gluing it, but I don't know. It's messed up over here too. Might try to get a new console top. Still want to get a new carpet. It's pretty beat. And the headliner's totally missing. And missing a couple of interior pieces, like the little seatbelt guide over here. Gotta get one of those. These strips are torn and coming down. I actually bought these last fall. I just have to put them on still. Engine compartment still has the Holley carburetor and a lot of disconnected vacuum lines, so I got to go through that. I have a Quadrajet, original Quadrajet for this car that I want to try. But today's project is going to be the brakes. The front brakes are completely shot. When you step on the brakes, really bad vibration, and it just really doesn't stop good. I mean, the pads look really low, so I got rotors and pads pretty cheap from Rock Auto. Rotors were maybe about $25 a piece. Pads were probably about $30 for ceramic pads, so I'm gonna try to check that off the list today, get these front brakes done. So when I was in here taking off the brakes, I noticed that the front sway bar bushings are completely gone. And I was getting a clunk from the front, and that would probably explain it. So I got to run out and get some sway bar bushings. Also, gonna try to get some new outer front wheel bearings, because I'm not so sure these are any good. I mean, I've never seen a plastic bearing, and these little rollers aren't really, they don't seem to be rolling. I mean, it might be fine, but if I can get bearings, I'll put some new ones in. So what was supposed to be a quick brake job turned into pretty much an all-day thing. The sway bar end links really slowed me down. I had to run out and get those. While I was out, I got some new outer wheel bearings, inner grease seals, and man, this sway bar fought me. I had to take it down. I had to take it down from the frame of the car, these bushings were okay, so I left them, but it was just not easy getting all these pieces on, getting it squeezed down so I could get the nuts started. Then I had problems lining up these bolts going back up into the frame of the car. But it's done. Brakes are done, sway bar's done. It was just a real pain in the rear getting that sway bar back on by myself. But anyway, everything should be good now. Like a dope, I left the key on all day, so now I gotta charge the battery. There was some decent life left in these pads. I mean, not totally worn out, but I think they're glazed up, and these rotors are in really bad shape. I mean, they're all pitted. There's grooves worn into them. They're not. It's not flat. They look pretty beat. So the new rotors and new pads should do the trick. Had to go to work, so I didn't get a chance to test the brakes, break them in. So I'm going to do that now. Check the back brakes out. The brakes are still a little weird. Stop all that great. Pulling the e-brake. It's not really doing anything. Since it was creaking up here, I took out the 3 screws here, and then it also turns out under here there's another screw under there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Just lifted it up just enough so I could get under there, and I sprayed some lithium grease. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll find out. Lithium grease actually worked. Usually nothing that easy actually works, but just putting a little grease up in between here and the trim did the trick. Nice and quiet now, no creaks. There shouldn't be any creaks with the T-top off. That didn't make any sense. So now we just have to work on the T-tops because they're pretty rattly. So I took off the back brake drum, and it really doesn't look too bad. The pads, the shoes, they look pretty good. I see a date on here, it says 2013. I don't know how many miles though. The drums, there's some grooves in the drum, but nothing too deep. They probably could use a resurfacing. But I'm gonna try to adjust everything. The drum came off very easily, so. And also I'm seeing the adjuster down here, this little plate, is supposed to make contact with this wheel. And it's really not. I'm wondering if this spring back here is on backwards, preventing this from touching. I'm not really sure. I haven't really worked on rear brakes in a long time. So I'm going to see if I can turn that spring around, because this is supposed to self-adjust whenever you back up. And then push the shoes out wider to keep it properly adjusted. I don't know if that's actually happening. Well, I took it for a ride, and just like I suspected. It does stop a little bit better, but still getting a pulsating, and I'm getting like a crazy like clicking noise from this side. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and place the drums and the shoes, and then hopefully brakes will be all set.